One, welcome back. Come on in. All right, let's have a discussion about how screwed up we are. Come on in. Aren't you glad you came to this uplifting seminar? Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so just curious, how many of you found when you take a look at your list of your values that there's something interesting in there? Do you look at your list and go, or I wonder what that means? Anyone have any kind of reaction like that? Sure. Yeah, interesting. Well, to help us understand our values a little more, we're going to invite Letty back up. So would you mind coming back up, Letty? Come on up. Give Letty another hand. Thank you. And bring your stool back out again. And I'm going to ask you some questions about this list. Okay. And what we want to find is, when it comes to our values, there's one more distinction that's extremely important to understand, and it's the motivation for our values. Now, our motivation will tell us where it's coming from. Now, let me give you an example of this. If you're running away from a lion, and you're in where are lions? The Serengeti? Sure. And you're running away from a lion, you could have one of two goals. You could either have a goal to run away from the lion. How many think that would be good to run away from the lion? Right, so the other option I didn't tell you yet is the other goal could be to run towards safety. So let me explain the difference. So the lion is over there. Okay, you know, you're the lion. You're the lioness. Okay. Come on, do that for me. Go. Yeah. 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 Lioness should be up on there. So here's the lion. If my goal is to run towards safety and like the house and the secure steel doors over there, and my goal is to run towards safety, do you think I'll probably be able to get there? I certainly hope so, but I have the best possible chance, right? Because I'm moving towards that, I'm pulling towards it. The other option is move away from the lion. Now, if I run away from the lion, where am I going to go?
Straight ahead.
Who knows? I could run there, I could run there, I could run there, I could run, oh, quick, run up a tree. Like, oh, shit, it's a cat. Oh, no, I could run anywhere I want to run, right? But I may or may not get to safety. That's the problem. So let's give you, again, a real life metaphor. If this wall over here is the things that I don't want, and the wall over here is the things that I do want, all of these values are, in fact, positive values, are they not? Right? Loving, she wants honesty, she wants faithfulness, she wants commitment, she wants passion, she wants the same goal, she wants time, and she wants freedom. Would any of you disagree that these are good values? And these are all good values to have, right? I think we all would like faithfulness and honesty and commitment in our relationships. So the conflict that Letty has that's leading her to not be in a relationship that she wants is not the values themselves. Okay, hear me now. They're not the values themselves. The conflict is in the motivation for the values. So it works like this. If this is what I don't want, so this is, not being broke, okay? Or maybe I say, you know what, I want to be wealthy. Maybe if that was career and wealthy is there, right? That would be sweet, right? So I want wealthy. But when I say, so what's important about being wealthy? Why do you want to be wealthy? What does it give you? And if you answer with answers like, well, if I need wealthy so I'm not broke. I need wealthy so I can pay the bills. I need wealthy so I don't get kicked out of my house. Yeah? If you answer with answers like that, those are all the away from. You're going, I don't want to be kicked out of the house. I don't want to have bills. I don't want to be stuck, right? And you're moving away from that wall. Now, are you moving towards the thing you want? Yeah, I'm moving towards it. The major problem, though, is my focus and my motivation and my direction is focused where? On the thing I don't want, right? And that's a very big problem. It's a big problem for a couple of reasons we'll get into in a second. So for Letty, let's just pick one at random. Let's just say honesty. If I said, what's important to you about honesty? Now, she might answer with some things like, well, it's important so we can communicate well. Right? Where's she focusing? This way, right? So she's going, yeah, communicate well. And then I say, what else is important about honesty? And she says, well, it's important that they don't lie to me. Now where's she focusing? Right? And back and forth we go. Now, you see how simple this is? I can't tell you how many people have tried to teach this, and you sat there after 6 hours going, wait, what? It's really that simple. It's what direction are you focusing on? Now, there's not a right or a wrong way to do it, and what we need to get, though, is some honest answers. Okay? Now, the motivation direction comes from a few different things, for instance. It's not only what she says. Okay, it's everything. Everything she does and feels and says is going to give away her answers. And we need to get an honest answer from her. So it's not just the words, but it's also the pictures in your mind. So you might say, I want open communication, but while she says it, she might make a picture of her ex lying. That make sense? So that means there's probably some hidden away from motivation in there. Or maybe she makes a picture of an honest person, they're communicating, but she gets a feeling of dread inside. She gets that kinesthetic, that feeling of like, oh, of avoiding dishonesty. So it's everything from the pictures, the sounds, the feelings, even the smells and tastes if they're important to you in your internal representation there, in your internal world, and what you say to yourself and what you say out loud. So let's start with loving, and I'll give you guys an example of this, and we'll go through a couple with Letty, excuse me, and then you can ask yourself the same question. So Letty, what's important to you about loving and caring in a relationship?
Well, that the person
Good.
loving.
Yes.
So that they love you, they have the same feeling for you. They have a connection with you.
Good. And when you're saying that, are you thinking about a person who's doing that, or are you thinking about a person who wasn't doing that?
Oh,
Honestly.
person that was doing that.
Yeah. Good. Okay. And what else is important about loving and caring in a relationship?
That the person cares about you, that they call you, they want to see you.
Yeah. Now, anyone seeing her light up right now?
Yeah.
Right? She's looking very, very positive, and you can see that blood's rushing to her cheeks, all these things. So if you had to give a percentage to this, and I'll make this really simple because this is not a math test. If you gave a percentage out of a total of 100%, away from and towards motivated. Okay, so it could be 100% towards, 0% away from. It could be 80% towards, 20% away from. 50-50, it could be 70% or 30% towards and 70% away from, or even 0 and 100. Out of a total of 100, towards and away, what would you give this based on what you said, based on what you saw in your mind, and based on how it makes you feel?
I would say 70-30.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And that feels good for you? That feels about right?
Yeah.
Honest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. You guys believe her? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's pretty obvious. There's a lot of towards motivation in there, right? So she's making the pictures and feeling good about that loving and caring. At the same time, though, she also obviously she probably accessed some memories and some pictures, maybe, yeah, of times when it wasn't so loving and caring, and said, you know what, I want this, and I also want to avoid that. Does that make sense? That's a healthy thing to do, actually. I think it's just fine. So we'll go 70-30. Let's do another one, honesty. So what's important to you about honesty in a relationship, honestly?
That the person is honest with you when they don't feel the connection with you.
Who saw the change in her? Just curious. Oh, yeah. I'm serious. Did you see the face and the body shift? Yes or no? Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you saw what I was seeing, okay? So, sorry, what else is important? You were saying? About a loving, caring relationship? So what else is important to you about honesty?
Okay, honesty. Well, that the person, if they don't feel a connection with you, that they tell you.
If they don't feel a connection, that they tell you?
Anymore, or, if they want to see somebody else, that they tell you, or...
Rather than
not tell you and do things behind your back.
Okay, so that's important. Yeah. So, see, I just delved a little bit deeper. So it's important that they tell you. It's important that they don't do things behind your back, right? All those things are important. What else is important about honesty?
That the person is honest, that you communicate well.
How do you know you have honesty?
Because I don't know.
Well, how do you know that you're feeling honesty in a relationship?
Well, when you're listening, like you're paying attention to your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel that you're honest, you feel good. If you're not feeling like you're honest, then you have this in your body that you're not good with yourself. That's how I feel it, at least.
Okay, good. So based on what you said and how it makes you feel and the pictures you made in your mind, what would you give honestly, towards and away, out of a total of 100?
I think it's like flipped over 30-70 or something.
Yeah? Do you think it's that high, 30?
Yeah, I think so.
Honestly, 30-70? Yeah, okay, good. So there's some towards in there?
A little bit.
Yeah, good. So honestly, 30-70.
Okay, maybe 80-20 or something.
Or something? What's the something?
Just 80-20.
80-20? Okay, I'll give you that.
Or 20-80.
Yeah. Okay, when you get the idea? Now, I'll let her off on that. It's probably closer to 1090. Yeah. She goes, yeah. But I want to be nice.
Okay.
The reality is I can't really know. I'm just guessing, but she knows. And it's a combination of everything, right? Remember, it's what you see in your mind when you're thinking about it. It's what you say when you're describing it. So I say, what's important about honesty? She might say, well, that they don't lie. They don't do things behind your back. That's obviously away from, right? But she could also say it's important that they communicate with you, but while she says it, she's making a negative picture. Or while she says it, she gets that bad feeling of that guy who did that thing. And all those combine to tell you how much true away from motivation you have. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing is, like I said, when you have too much away from, it can be a problem. Having a little bit of away from can be very useful, right? Having a little bit of away from tells us what to avoid, which I think is safe. It's a dang good thing. If we had no away froms, we would be touching hot stoves and getting eaten by lions, and all sorts of bad stuff would happen, and it wouldn't really matter, right? So we want to have a little bit of away from. We'd also never get around to doing unpleasant things like doing taxes and other stuff if we have no away from motivation. Think about it. If all you had was pleasurable towards motivation stuff, you'd never get around to going, oh, I do need to make those sales calls. I do need to, whatever I need to do that's maybe not so pleasurable. All right. You want to do one more? You want to do one more?
Oh, whatever.
Everyone's like, yeah, do one more. All right, so faithfulness. What's important about faithfulness in a relationship as you swallow harder?
Oh, okay. Faithfulness. Well, that the person is faithful.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Committed. I don't know.
You do.
Faithful.
This is your life,
I know, but
But
that they're faithful.
Good. So what's important about that they're faithful?
Well, that they're not going to cheat on you.
Good. You can say it. Say whatever comes to your mind. Don't try to filter it.
Okay, so they don't cheat.
They don't cheat. Yeah. What else is important? They don't lie to you. What else? She's been filtering. That's why we had so much trouble. Okay, keep going. What else is important about faithfulness in a relationship? They don't cheat. They don't lie. They're faithful.
They have an honest relationship.
They have an honest relationship. Good. What else?
I can't think anymore.
Okay, good. So I'm just curious, just for Letty's sake, how many of you, when I say think of faithfulness in a relationship, how many of you got a different picture or something that was more towards motivated? Anyone, you don't need to raise your hand, but anyone think of a different picture? Some did, some didn't, right? Some of you, if you truly have away from motivated faithfulness, you thought of the same pictures as she did. It was like, yeah, that's it. Just don't cheat and don't lie. And yeah, as long as that's not there, then I know I have faithfulness. Yeah. Others of you are thinking maybe of your current relationship, and you're thinking, yeah, faithful's awesome because we're there for each other, and we care, and we're home together to spend time, and you're making all these different pictures. I make a picture of sitting with a fireplace on and sitting with my baby, my wife, and like I'm faithful and she's faithful because we're just together, and that's just how it is. So I make that picture in my head, which feels really good.
Oh, okay.
Right? No, I don't think you did. No, it's not bad that you didn't.
Okay.
You definitely understand that, because the most important thing for this little exercise here, and you're going to go home and like, this is for you, right? I'm not going to look at it. You're not going to show anybody. This is purely for you. The most important thing is that you're honest, because if you're honest with yourself about it, dead honest about it, then you can figure out what's not working and you can change it. If you do a little lying to yourself, it's like, if you're 30 pounds overweight and you look in the mirror and you go, no, I'm just kind of pleasantly plump. I can still suck it in. Yeah, I can fit in the bikini if I try. If you do that, then you're lying to yourself and you're making it okay. And then you're very not likely to change the circumstance, right? So I'm a proponent for loving brutal honesty for ourselves, right? I want to know, how is it right now, truly right now, no BS. And if I don't like it, then I figure out how to change that. And also I want to be honest about the things that we do like, right? Be honest about the parts that are working, okay? And if you're honest about the parts that are working, you can keep doing those things, okay? So what would you give faithfulness? A total out of 100% towards and away from, what would you give faithfulness?
Maybe...
If you were honest.
90?
Whatever you think. 90-10? Yeah. Or 10-90? Yeah. And I'm sure commitment would be similar. Just what does commitment feel like? I don't even need to ask you the questions. Just when I say commitment in a relationship, what would you give that towards in a way, do you think?
You both have the same goal towards the relationship. You both have the same ideas and
good.
Want to be with each other.
Good. And what would you give that percentage towards versus away from?
Maybe 70-30.
70 towards?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So notice that commitment has a lot more towards motivation for her. When she thinks about commitment, she thinks about committing to each other. When she thinks about honesty and faithfulness, she thinks about that lying, cheating bastard. Right?
Yeah.
And right now, she's in a place over the last 2 years where these two values have been driving her love life into the ground. Yes, because they're the things that are dictating everything. And as soon as somebody meets her, she might as well have a sign that says, if you lie and cheat, I'll stab you. You don't lie and cheat, do you? Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Letty. Do you lie and cheat? You better not.
Right.
Okay, good, because if you lie and cheat, you're out of here. But if you don't lie and cheat, I'll consider going out with you. You're not gonna lie and cheat, are you?
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna test you every day, by the way.
That's fine.
Every day I'm gonna make sure you don't lie and cheat.
Google me.
And even if you just forget something, I'm gonna maybe make it into a fact that you lied. Okay, just to make sure. Okay, good. So, that's not you. That's what these two values are doing. Right? And what about passion? You think about passion. What's important about passion?
Just that connection with that person.
You see her light up again?
Physically, emotionally.
What do you mean specifically by that? I'm just kidding. No. So, she's like connecting with the person physically. Yeah, good. Oh, connecting. So, are all adults? We're all adults. Okay. So good. What else is important about passion?
It's just that you keep that love alive. That you, I don't know. You want to be with that person. Enjoy being with that person.
Good. And when you're saying those things, are you thinking about? Are you making pictures and thinking and feeling about being with someone, or are you making pictures about a time when it wasn't happening?
No. Being with someone.
Yeah? Okay, good, excellent. And if that's the honest answer, then that's what's happening for you. So towards and away from, what would you give passion?
I'm like a 70-30.
70-30? That's it? Honestly, it's up to you. I promise you I'm not going to judge you.
I think so.
70-30? Okay. 70-30. Now, the cool thing is, this is not math, so it doesn't really matter, But what it tells us is that love, commitment, and passion are more towards motivated than they are away from for her. True? And honesty and faithfulness are more away from motivated. And probably if she was really honest, they'd probably be 100% away from motivated. I'd bet you any money. I've never seen honesty, faithfulness, respect is another one. I usually only see as number 1 or number 2 on a relationship values list when there's been abuse. I see that almost every time. Verbal, emotional, whatever it is. They go, what's important about a relationship? They say respect. They better respect me because I've been disrespected so much, right? That's obviously away from. Honesty, because I've had so many lying people. Faithfulness, because I've had so many cheaters. Commitment, because I want someone to commit. And passion. And same goes time, we can go all the way through. So you get the idea, right? So this is the towards versus away from motivation, and they're telling us what's going on. So what we need to do very simply from an NLP perspective, if you want to make this change, yes, good. This is one of 5 like I talked about, right? So what we want to do is now we need to look at the other 4. We're not going to do it tonight, obviously, there's no time, but we're going to look at the other 4 key components, and we need to find out, between honesty and faithfulness especially, we need to look for the negative emotions surrounding those, the limiting beliefs and decisions that you've been creating as a result of that, like men are cheaters, or you can't trust, or I'm making them up, but they're probably close to home. Yeah. We tend to make up beliefs like that. Again, most beliefs are at the unconscious level. We're not conscious of them. She's not walking around saying, I don't trust, maybe she is, but most people don't walk around saying, I don't trust. But unconsciously, their behavior says, I don't trust. So we need to change the limiting beliefs, which is very easy to do through a process. We run of all the things we do, I told you a little bit about us. We run a course called Success Revolution, and it's a 2.5-day breakthrough weekend that we do. It's all based on NLP and the things we're doing. And during the weekend, we actually go through those 5 major important keys. And it's a full-on immersive breakthrough experience, and I set it up like that for a reason. So we go through our values, like we've done so far, but we actually go through, and you're going to go through with one other person as well during that weekend. So someone will ask you, put you in the hot seat basically like I've done, and then you'll do that with them. And then we'll order them, and then we'll find out what our conflicts are. We'll go through and release the negative emotions around the past to get rid of those, because there's stuff around those values, right? That's a technical term, by the way, it's stuff. But there's stuff around those values. And when we release the emotions, it feels a little different. Some of the away from will disappear when we release the anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, etc. When we change some of the beliefs and decisions, right? Some of the stuff will disappear with those. Imagine how it would feel if, honestly, at the deepest level of your being, you saw a man in a room and you said, and you really believed yourself that I can trust men, and you truly believed it. How different would that be?
I think it would make a big difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So just telling her doesn't do it, right? I mean, have you ever had someone tell you something and you're like, oh yeah, thanks, now it's different? Have you ever had a roommate before? You ever lived with someone an hour before and they did something that wasn't so pleasant? Maybe they left their dishes on the counter or the coffee table. Son of a... And you asked them pleasantly, you said, would you mind, please? I care about you so much as my roommate and you're my dear friend. And would you mind maybe clean up your freaking dishes? And they say, of course, I'm so sorry. I'll do it. No problem. I'll change. They are now aware of their problem. Did they change? Yes or no? No. Right? Next day, why is there a cereal bowl? What's going on? So just making someone aware of something is simply making them aware of it. Making change at the unconscious level where it's hidden in secret below the surface of the iceberg, that's why we have some techniques and tools like NLP. Hypnosis we also use and other things like that. Don't worry, I didn't hypnotize you tonight, but I might. Just kidding. I'll tell you before I do, mostly. Yeah, we'll see. All right. So the other two we need to do also is one of the major problems that we see is probably in Letty's case is there's also we need to create a foreseeable future. So the future, what does a relationship look like for you? What will the relationship look like a year after you've met the person? Do you really have a clear, focused-in vision of what that is, and do you see that happening in your future? Or has it been gone so long that you're starting to believe that you don't really see it happening? And you're starting to get more comfortable with being a single person, right? Even though you truly want inside to be in a relationship.
That's right.
Yeah. This is my, the relationship thing. We call this a fat pants metaphor. Anyone have a pair of fat pants? Come on, it's the pair of pants that you finally went out and bought because the other pants you had didn't fit. Yeah. My friend Bob Donnell says, whatever becomes acceptable eventually becomes inevitable. And I love that. That's why I borrow it so often. Whatever becomes acceptable eventually becomes inevitable. And in any area in life, whatever we allow to be acceptable, that's the fat pants metaphor. When you gain a pound of weight, you don't need a new pair of pants yet, right? You gain another pound, you don't need a new pair of pants. One day, you're trying to fit them and it's like, and you break down and you finally go buy that pair of pants, the next size up. And when I talk to someone who's overweight, or I talk to someone who's not in a relationship and they want to be, or I talk to someone who's broke and they want to be wealthy, and I say, whatever their metaphor is, I say, when did you go and buy your pants? When did it become acceptable to be overweight? When did it become acceptable to be not in a relationship ever again? When did it become acceptable to be broke? And they'll look at me crazy like, what? It's not acceptable. No, I won't accept this. No, I want this for my life. And I say, you're freaking lying. Because they believe consciously that it's not acceptable, but at the unconscious level, they made it acceptable the moment they bought the fat pants. They made it acceptable the moment the moment you stopped going out with your girlfriends. The moment you stopped trying to meet somebody, the moment you took your profile offline, the moment whatever XYZ that you did, that moment you said, well, you know what, there's no good guys out there anyway. Maybe the moment you said that, it became acceptable. And then it became inevitable that's not going to happen. And then leaving this value list in this order, of course, is never going to happen. So after we've done this, the fourth thing we need to do, of course, is to create a foreseeable future. Make sense? So we're actually going to take goals like in a relationship and plant it in your future in what we call a timeline so it becomes a real experience. Now, I don't have time to get into that, but you get the idea in a nutshell. It's like goal setting on steroids. Instead of just writing, has anyone ever written a goal before? You ever written a goal? Yeah. Hey, anyone ever achieved a goal they wrote? Good. Anyone ever not achieved a goal they wrote? When you don't achieve a goal that you wrote, which happens to everybody at some point, for me, what I found is it never was real enough. That's one of the major problems with it. So we take the goals and we actually put it into our future in a way that it lives in our unconscious mind, just like a memory. Our unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what happened in the past and what's going to happen in the future if it's clear enough, which is really cool. So just like you're certain that last year on your birthday you did X, whatever it is, you can be just as certain that next year on your birthday you'll be with whoever it is that you want to be with.
Okay.
It'll feel just as certain as a past memory, except for we create a future memory. So that's a really cool thing. And there was a fifth thing, wasn't there? How many things were there? Anyone have a list going and you have 4 out of 5 and you're really...
I have 4 out of 5.
And you have a little bit of anxiety that I'm not going to tell you the fifth thing yet? Yeah. Anyone have that? Yeah, you should. Yeah. I wouldn't be so cruel to send you home with an incomplete list, would I? Oh my God. All right. The last thing we have to look at this too is so these are the biggies I see. I thought commitment would be there too, but commitment's actually more towards, which is sweet. But these two being so strong away from, and these two being so high on the list are creating massive conflict for Letty. And you guys all see that, right? The real, everything else seems pretty darn good. I might think about maybe moving. I mean, what would happen? I'm not going to tell you to do this, but what would happen if you move passion higher on the list? Do you think you might get a different reaction from men that you meet?
Probably.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because like I said, when you... They seem to like that, yeah. Remember, you're walking up and you're basically leaving cue cards. You're saying, someone meets you and you say, hi, I want loving. And they're like, all right. And I want honesty. Hey. But when you say, I want loving, okay, and I want passion, and I want, I don't know, like, who else has a different value in a relationship? Who picked relationship, by the way? Who did relationship values? Who has a different value in a relationship that you think Letty might be able to borrow from you that's a useful one? Anyone have a good one? Yeah.
Employment.
Oh, if only I had time to get to you. All right, yeah.
I want somebody who's playful.
Playful. I like that one. That's on my list. Playful, yeah. Who else?
Humor.
Humor. Good. Understanding. Yes, anyone else? Kindness. Adventure. Ooh, that'd be good, right? So there are thousands of possible values out there. Thousands of values that are possible that we could want. And this is your list right now. So if we were to do a breakthrough, we spent several hours to do it, or you came to the event and we did that there, we would of course work on the honesty and faithfulness and possibly a little bit of the freedom. What percentage do you think, just off the top of your head, freedom is for you? Do you think it's mostly away, towards, or a combination?
I think away.
And what percentage would you give freedom towards and away?
Maybe, I don't know, 20-80.
28, so mostly away from? Okay, I was going to put that up there too because I figured freedom would be another problem. 20-80. So remember I told you for me when I went through my relationship breakthrough, freedom was number one. How likely am I to get in a committed, loving relationship if all I want is freedom? Oh, and by the way, freedom was 100% away from. No lie. Freedom 100% away from. Oh, no, I remember what I had. I had freedom, and then I had transparency, honesty, playful, and passion were my top 5. Of course, transparency and honesty are both 100% away from. And then playful was 100% towards. So I'm like, I want playful, and I want passion, I want fun, and I don't want any of that other stuff. And that was guiding every single move I made. I wouldn't date me, I promise. When I went through the breakthrough, what happened is freedom dropped down to nothing. It didn't need to be on my list anymore. Why? Like, it didn't need to be on the list anymore. It wasn't important. Like, if I'm really in a loving, amazing relationship, why do I need to focus on freedom so much? I mean, I am free. I'm free to love, and I'm free to have fun, and we're free to play together, and we're free to, live our lives, and like, that's almost a given. It's very, very obvious. And what happens for most people, if you're in a relationship right now that's really working for you, that you're feeling great about it, and you're happy, and you're in love with your spouse or your partner, probably honesty isn't on your list. Most people who are in a relationship that's working, they don't have honesty on the list or respect on the list. It's a given. It's not something they need to focus on because it's not the away from, right? So most people have that. It's still important, of course. We don't lie to each other, but honesty isn't something that, you better be honest with me, because it just is, right? So that might change a little bit. That could change just a little bit. The last thing that we'll need to focus on, of course, is also your state, your emotional state from moment to moment. That's the 5th thing. Your emotional state from moment to moment. Okay. And we'll get into the course how we create our state and how we're in control of our state every time. Some people believe, I know no one here would believe this, but some people, believe it or not, don't believe they're in control of their state or how they feel from moment to moment. Like maybe a psychiatrist told them something, they diagnosed them and said, well, you are bipolar or depressed or manic or this or that or the other thing, and you need this medication, and if you take these pills, then you'll feel nothing, and otherwise, there's nothing we can do, your biochemistry is messed up. Or your mom was messed up, so you're messed up. It's in your genes. Or you got beat when you were a kid, so of course you're going to be depressed, or whatever story that people tell. Now, I'm generalizing, of course, not everyone in mainstream psychiatry would subscribe to that, but that's a lot of an old school way to see things, and people still today don't believe that we can change the way we feel. you know? And you might think sitting in a seminar right now tonight, that's silly, right? You might think, oh, come on, of course I can change how I feel. But when we go to a time in our lives when something's very serious and something happens externally, like you look at your retirement portfolio and your 401k became a 201k and it cut in half, right? Some people had that. And you might think, of course I feel angry. Of course I feel upset. Of course I feel scared. But still, even in that moment, you chose to feel that way. We get to choose how we feel every single moment. So one of the things we'll need to do, of course, is to get back in control of our state. So if again, if you're going to go out and meet somebody new, do you think that if you're in that mode of, yeah, well, we'll see what happens, I guess, I don't know, I haven't really met anyone before, well, I don't know, like I've been single for a long time, so do you think that, is he going to want to find out more about you in that state?
No.
No. If you're in that state, they're probably going to, well, it was nice to meet you. And, they're out of there. But if Letty shows up and she's in control of her state and she really does feel positive and she feels amazing and she feels loved and she feels pretty and she feels awesome and she feels smart and she feels all the things that she really is, she goes, man, that's great. And she's in control of her state. She's worked on the emotions, worked on the decisions, has a goal in the future and solved the conflicts of her values. And, beat them off with a stick. Mm-hmm. And the good ones. Now I'm talking about the good ones. You'll be the good ones off with the stick, and and that's what we have to do. Men and women, you've both seen this happen. You've seen that attractive guy, and I'm not talking physically attractive, but I mean that guy who you go, wow, that's someone I want to get to know. Or you've seen that woman, it just goes, whew, like everyone wants to get to know this person, and it's not because of what they look like; it's because of who they are. You know what I'm talking about? So who they are, the science behind it, you might just think it's luck or whatever it is, but the science behind it is all the things we've been doing here. So give Letty a huge hand for participating. Thank you very much. Have a hug.
Thank you.
You're so playful. Very cool. Music to my ears. Yeah. Hey, we have a church group next door. It's great. They get to serenade us. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to end a little bit earlier than normal, and I want to do something that I don't usually do every time, but I want to offer you guys something very special and super crazy, sweet deal, and something I think you'll enjoy very much. Is that cool? All right. So if you've been thinking about this from what you learned tonight and you want to attend the Success Revolution seminar I talked about, why do we run the meetups? We do them for a couple of reasons. One reason is I want to, of course, introduce more people we haven't met to what we do and the tools and technologies so you can use them to improve your life. The second reason is so we have our graduates and people who have been with us before, and they can come back and they can experience the event and they can be around us again. And everyone in the back, all these. How many have been to one of our events before? One of our weekends or advanced courses? Hold your hand up high for a second. Right? And everyone in the back. So we have people who can come back and they can be around a great community of similar thinkers. So that's why we do the events, and that's why we don't charge for them. In a similar vein of thinking, we have 2 Success Revolutions coming up. One is going to be in Los Angeles. If you can't wait, it's in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? 3 weeks. The last weekend of January 27th, 28th, and 29th. It's in Los Angeles near LAX. If you can wait for a little bit and you want to attend something that's closer to home, we're going to do it right here in this room in Orange County, and that's February 24th, 25th, and 26th. So either end of January, last weekend, or last weekend of February. Normally we have different price and different tickets and everything. I'll make this really, really simple. We have a VIP ticket that normally sells for $9.95. It includes admission to the 3-day course. It includes your course materials. It includes a VIP networking evening. It also includes a instant download of our what I call your Double Your Dollars at Home study. It's a 7-day breakthrough experience based on everything we've just been talking about tonight. And you get all that, and you get it right now. You can download it right away, and it's yours to keep and yours to go through until you come to the course. And was there anything else? Oh, and you get cool VIP seating, so all this great stuff. Normally it goes for $9.95. Basically, if you come and you pay my cost to run the event and the hotel and everything for $97, you guys can come on a VIP ticket. That's it. So no special anything besides that. Pay my cost and you can come. I'd love to have you if you haven't seen us before. If you have been to one of our events before and you want to reattend, come talk to one of us in the back and we'll talk about what the reattendance fee would be, or if you want to come and volunteer crew or something like that. You can see Janet or myself if you have any questions in the back. I have a simple form. Grab this, fill it out, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory, easy enough to do. End of January in LA, end of February in Orange County. We also have one in April in San Diego if you want to do that as well. So simple as that. If you don't know that you can make one of those dates, what I would suggest is do something, fill it out tonight, so that way you can take me up on my special offer, and then you can get back to us in the next couple of days and let us know if your calendar didn't work, if you need to transfer dates or transfer locations or something like that. You can do that for the next few days. Fair enough? All right, cool. So thanks for coming out, you guys. Love you very much. Hope you learned something useful tonight. And we always run this meetup, by the way. You can always come back free of charge the first Thursday of every month right here in this room, and tell your friends in LA. They can go to ES Monthly, evolutionsseminarsmonthly.com, esmonthly.com, and we have several different meetups in the LA area and San Diego area as well. So thanks for coming out, and I'll be in the back and we can chat and let me know how it went. All right, thank you.